everyone has a story. And one of the important parts of SoundBites is just sharing that story with other people.
Welcome to SoundBites from Home, a visual podcast featuring students, faculty, and staff from the Department of Performing Arts at American University. I'm Amanda Steadman, Music Library Coordinator and guest host for this episode. Our guest today is Andrew Brown, the usual host for this podcast. He's also a pianist and master's candidate in arts management at American University. So, Andrew, welcome to SoundBites.
Thank you.
This must be very weird for you.
Nah, it's all good.
So, although the music library staff work on this video series collaboratively, it should be very clear that SoundBites was your idea, like doing these videos. So what inspired you to propose this series, and how do you think it has evolved over the past academic year?
So it was one of those really interesting opportunities where in my arts management program, we have this class called project management, where you have to go out and design a project all on your own, or you team up with an organization to create a project. And I decided I wanted that project to be SoundBites, but in a virtual setting. So, and you know how the story goes. I reached out to you, and no boy, you guys were super just on board with it, just getting to connect to the whole AU DPA community virtually. And yeah, that's how it really started.
So I know for your thesis, you have been talking to regional orchestra leadership across the country to talk about how orchestras have adapted since the pandemic started. What do you think are some of the positive things that have come out of the pandemic for arts professionals?
I think one of the really positive things about the way orchestras have been handling the pandemic is that with every kind of big pivotal change, there's a lot of room to be very innovative with what you do. And this kind of differs across the entire field, but some people will say that orchestras were not the best at engaging previously. So having this pandemic really gave a lot of organizations the time to step back and kind of question what they were doing. We really had the drive of, if we can't connect people in person, we kind of lose all our revenue, all our social standing. So what are some innovative ways we can connect virtually that people do they remember us, they're regularly tuning into us, and after the pandemic, they want to come back in. I'm hoping to see people really, after this whole year of not having any live performances, I'm hoping people can just really rush back into concert halls and enjoy the experiences, socially distance if you need to, the mask if you need to and whatnot. But I really hope that people are rushing in and orchestras take this advantage to recognize, what new clientele we have gained from people being very starved by music and hoping to create programs that are going to be more inclusive, more welcoming, and just better for the orchestral experience.
And are there some things that you think are positive changes from the last year personally?
Yeah, I really got into arranging since the pandemic happened. Arranging was like one of those things on my bucket list that I wanted to try all throughout college. Never got around to do it. Was always like a little like insecure of like where even to start. But when the pandemic hit and I was like looking for like things to like, communicate to basically to give people basically saying, this is a hard time, but we need to get through it and like help each other out. I realized a lot of like the classical tradition music that I had wasn't very connecting with like, a lot of the audiences I have. A lot of my friends aren't classically trained. So it was really important for me to find music that like, they would relate to and like my family would relate to. So, for example, one of the things I really got to do this pandemic that I enjoyed, I did an arrangement of a Bob Marley song. It was Jammin', and it's my aunt's favorite song from Bob Marley. Actually, we used to like sing it all the time before the pandemic happened, and I had to move back to Florida. But I prepared that over the summer, and I showed it to her around like November and December time, and it was just really touching for her because that was something that we just hadn't done in months. We hadn't been able to enjoy that musical experience, but now we can. And that was really important to me personally. I just like to say this has been a really fun experience, doing sound bites for the last, I think this is 15 episodes now.
Gosh, I
Uh,
have completely lost count.
we're somewhere in the double digits, but I never thought it would get this far. I originally like pitched you guys to do, I think maybe 6 episodes, and I thought, it'd be a 6 episode thing, and then we call it off. But the fact that a lot of people in the AU community really liked it and wanted to see it going was like really awesome. It
I
feels
agree.
nice to, have a product that I was able to put out there, people enjoy it, and want more of it. So
Yeah,
it's been an absolute blast, and this is a memory I'm going to treasure for a very long time.
you and me both, and I think that we should thank you for coming up with it and for pushing to get that first one out. Well, I guess
It's been
that's that.
fun. Thanks, Amanda.
Yep. Bye
Take
now.
care.
It's over, is it? Why can't I move on? It's over.